Often people will come to me and they're like, Amy, I'm working so hard, but I'm not making any money, blah, 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 but I'm doing everything right. And I'm like, well, I do believe that you're working really hard and you're doing all the things, but you might just not be doing the right thing. So this is a little turbo episode where we're going to look at the 7 reasons why your business isn't making enough money. Hello, and welcome to Play to Win, the show where we turn your passion into profits so you can live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van der Putten from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday. The first most glaringly obvious reason is probably that you are really focused on your product, on your features of your product actually, instead of on the transformation of what you are offering. So for example, this happens often with coaching programs. People will send out a mail like, hey, I have something for you. Please look at these. You get 4 PDFs and 2 coaching calls and live Foxer access. And people are like, well, I don't give a fuck. That's because you are focused on the features, but no one is going to pay money for PDFs or for coaching calls or for access. People are going to pay money for the transformation. Just think of this. Let's say you are getting surgery and you're getting your boobs done. I've never done this, but let's take a look at this as an example. What if the plastic surgeon would put up a billboard and like, come and get your boobs done for 10K. We're gonna saw into your body, then we're gonna stitch it up and we're gonna put some silicone where your boobs are right now. Do you think people will buy that? Of course not. He's gonna be like, hey, for 10K, you get glorious new tits. This is what people do. They're like, I'm gonna saw into your body. Here's a beautifully made PDF I made. This is how people sell. And I do this often too. I look back at my old emails. I'm like, well, these emails said exactly nothing to people about what they're gonna get when they buy this. I think this is the best example I've ever come up with in my entire life of focusing on features versus the actual transformation on the actual product. You're not selling the surgery, you're selling the effect, you're selling the glorious cleavage that you're gonna get and lots of sex with the new boobs. Again, not my story, random example. And I think one of the best examples in a more realistic setting could be that, for example, moms don't buy food boxes, food boxes like HelloFresh or whatever, or things that save you time. They're buying time. They're buying quality time with their family. They're buying the fact that they're not stressed out and have to think about what they're going to cook. They're buying health for their family. They're not buying the actual box with the food. Get what I'm saying there? So tip number 1, or reason you're not making money, is because you're focusing on the features instead of the end result. Reason number 2, you're not making enough money with your business is, let's say the surgeon is specialized in toes, legs, knees, but also boobs, but also fingers and hair and everything. You might be like, oh, I don't even know what to offer. And all of a sudden, you hear that the surgeon is also selling socks. And it makes no sense. And their marketing is all over the place. You're like, what? But I wanted to go to this clinic for Botox. What? You're so confused because their offer isn't clear. Bad example, but this is what we often do because we are starting out and results don't come fast enough. We're not focused on one offer because we're afraid, what if this offer fails? Let me go and look at a different offer. And you get scattered in your marketing. And then people don't know if you're selling boobs or socks. You got to make it clear. What's your core offer? Boobs or socks? It's often you make one course and then you make another course, or you highlight one product in your stories and then 5 minutes later you're talking about something else and then something else, and you have 5 different areas of expertise. People just don't have the bandwidth or the brain space to remember that. So when you are starting out in your business, make sure that you have one core offer or one thing. For a store, this isn't going to be one product, but one area that you're really, really specialized in. For example, my friend has a knitting store and she was selling wool. Wool? Is that how I say it? Wool. Yeah. I always use her as an example in my coaching calls. Everyone knows this by now. I bought this shirt in her store. But this shirt is not something she used to sell. So she started her store with just wool. And people would come from everywhere to go and buy there. On Sundays, she was open and there would be these little grandmas asking knitting questions. And like, wool. I met her buying wool for a scarf with my mom, actually. And then she expanded her store after her reputation was set and she added clothes. Now, after many years, turns out that the clothes are doing really well in her store on top of the wall. But she didn't start by saying, hey, you can come for a coffee, but you can also knit some clothes and you can buy shoes. And then also, like, she started with one very specific core offer. You can 100% open a store and offer a lot of different things. But usually you do need one clear theme. And especially in a service-based industry, you kind of gotta make it really clear what your one thing is. On the one hand, so people know what they can buy from you, but especially for yourself so that you know what you need to be focused on in your marketing so you can actually make a profit. So the reason you're probably not making enough money is because you are scattered in what you are selling. What I like to say there is when you confuse, you lose. So stop confusing. Third reason you're not making enough money is because your offer isn't clear enough. Reason number 3, you are not selling enough or making enough money is that your offer isn't clear enough. So I will see this happen many times. People post something online and they're like, they have a really fancy name for a program, for example, but it's not really clear if it's online or offline, if people actually get a box shipped to them or not. Are people getting videos or live access? And I've made these mistakes many times again. A couple of years ago, I launched a mastermind without once ever saying in my entire launch it was a business coaching mastermind. I forgot to constantly reiterate like, hey, this is business coaching. It's going to be 16 weeks of live access to me. I'm going to give you explanations every week and you can ask me questions and la la la. And this is because what we need to do is, what we already talked about is you need to make it clear what the transformation is like. You're going to grow your business. And you also do need to make it clear what people are getting or not, because otherwise they can kind of stay in limbo like, oh, I'll see this person launching. Don't know if I'm going to buy because it's unclear to me what I am actually buying. For example, let's say, really stupid example could be that someone posts a picture of an outfit and they're like 50 euros. And people are like, is it the entire outfit, including the jewelry? Or is it just the dress? Like, you need to make sure that people really understand what they're spending their money on. The moment there is not enough clarity, people aren't opening their wallet because no one likes to be taken advantage of. People like to make conscious, good decisions with their money because it hurts too much to spend money. So in order to enable people to take action and spend their money, you got to make sure that your offer is really clear so that they can't regret their purchase later on. And remember, it might be really obvious to you how it works, but have someone else look at your launch or your stories and have them explain to you what they think your product is. That could be a really good, helpful tool. Even if it's your partner and you ask your partner or your best friend, if they aren't going to be able to explain to you what it is, then the rest of your audience definitely won't know what it is. Fourth reason you're not making enough money is because you're actually not pitching enough. I know in your brain it's really clear that you've been selling and your launch has opened, but if you look at the data, how many times did you send out an email? How many times did you mention your product and where people can buy it? How many times did you post a link? How many times did you post it on your feed? My guess is not that many times. And if we're looking at an ongoing business, it could be the same. If you're not selling, it's probably because you're not selling. You might be posting dresses on your socials, but you might not be adding the link to where people can buy. So have a really put on a different hat. I call this the consumer hat, and go have a look at your Instagram profile or whatever else and pretend like you're the customer. Like, oh, wait, let me do this. Like, go through it and be like, okay, so can I buy? If people would be interested to buy, can they buy? So this is the consumer hat. I should have a different hat for that. If you're listening, you can't see it, but I put a mug on my head. And the best way to do this is with actual market research or having someone else go through your profile. But it already really helps if you do it yourself. I do this every time I post stories. I upload all of my stories. Then I close the app, I open the app again, and I go through it. And I look at it like, is this clear to me? And then I also pay attention to, at the end of a story series where I'm maybe talking about something, did I make the call to action really clear? Did I end by saying, click here, buy the dress? I don't sell dresses, but that will be the thing. Like, sign up here, listen here to the podcast. Pitching something free is also a pitch. So the reason most businesses aren't making enough money is simply because they're not selling. And they're not making it easy for people to buy by literally handing the link to them on a silver plate. Maybe they're talking about what they have to offer, but they're not making it actionable. Fifth reason you're not making enough money has to do with your sales funnel. So online you will find the IDA sales funnel, but I have made a little bit of a different sales funnel for all of my coachees in the Fast Forward Academy, where we teach business coaching. So what we do in our academies, we literally help entrepreneurs to attract the right clients for their business, to make sure that the numbers are in order, but also that they have fun in their business. And what we see happening there often is people are either focused on the inside of their business or on the outside, but they're missing a crucial step, namely a bridge. So the ITA sales funnel, the way I teach it, is we go from people being aware that you exist to interested in what you have to offer, to trusting you to buy from you, to actually taking action and buying. And the trust part is often what misses. So people might be interested in the fact that you have a coaching program on offer, but they don't trust you yet to get them results. They don't trust that you have enough authority. They don't trust that when they open their wallet and they pay you, you're actually going to reward them with results. So the way you can fix this is by actually making sure that you have enough social proof, that you showcase reviews, that you talk about cases, that you talk about your degrees and all of that. People need proof that they can trust you to buy from you. The way big brands do this is because they are really famous. They have a lot of authority, but you are not Nike or Starbucks. So you're going to have to get that authority in a different way. And this could be by posting a lot of valuable aha things online that people are like, oh, this was really smart. Okay. Or if you have a product, by posting about the different features of your product, like it's really good material, or someone has been wearing your purse for 5 years and not a single scratch came on it. Like, post proof about what you have to do so that people trust you to take action and buy from you. Sixth reason you might not be making enough money is a little bit of a lack of confidence. And I don't blame you. Honestly, I don't wake up every day feeling like I am the confidence queen of the world. But when in doubt, a couple of years ago, I was going through a really hard breakup and I really didn't want to sell anymore. I'm like, oh my God, do I have to go live another time? You know, I could just stop my launch right here. But I realized, like, I can't stop pitching. I can't stop selling, because even when I'm feeling low or when my confidence is wavering, because I was getting bullied a little bit by my ex-in-laws, they were really harassing me, I'm going to be honest. And it made me really wary of going online, because I was afraid that they were going to be really mean to me, by the way, without reason. That goes, I don't know. How do I say that? I don't even have to say that, but that was just really not a fun period in my life. And they were harassing me during lives and stuff like that. And my confidence wasn't super high back then, because I was so sad and I wasn't feeling good. But the moment I wanted to give up, I reminded myself that when I stop selling, I'm doing people a disservice. There's going to be 50 people that won't be able to join this program, that won't be able to change their lives. So even if I'm not believing in myself or in my own capabilities right now, I gotta believe in my product. So you don't have to be confident every day. You don't have to be a sales queen every day. You don't even have to believe in yourself every day. You just need to believe in your product. And reason number 7, your business is not making enough money, is maybe because you're simply not charging enough. When I started out as a personal trainer, I was just really happy that people became my clients. So I wasn't charging a lot. I felt really insecure. I set my prices based on my intuition. And to get started, that was okay. But at a certain point, I had my studio. And at a certain point in that studio, one of my clients asked me, hey, Amy, are you sure you're charging enough? And I was super offended. I was like, what do you mean? Of course I am. I have my numbers figured out. And then I actually ran the numbers and I had to admit it, that he was right. I wasn't charging enough, because my costs had gone up because I was professionalizing my business. And I just simply wasn't charging enough. So the reason I wasn't earning a profit isn't because I didn't have clients or because people didn't want to work with me. It was just simply because I didn't know I had to raise my prices. So I changed that. And from there on, that was one of the biggest shifts in my business, is I raised my prices to a good point, and that just changed everything, because obviously you can't build a house without, the basic layer. So if the basics aren't right, you can keep on selling, but if you're selling and your price point is off, you're going to work yourself into a burnout. So make sure your prices are right. I also want to add to that, make sure you're also offering enough value, obviously. Don't just start out with immensely high prices and take advantage of people. That's not what we want to do. So to recap, I'm going to go over the list of the things we talked about. I'm already thinking this might have been a little bit of a rude episode, but you're probably also listening to this, if you aren't making enough money and you need the help, I'm really happy to help. I'm going to go through the different things we talked about. But first up, before we do that, I want to invite you to have a look at your opportunity cost, like what your time is worth or what your energy is worth, because it might be that maybe your prices are off or you're spending days and days on stuff that might not be worth your trouble. And me and my team, we actually created this incredibly cool calculator that you can use for free, and it's our hourly worth calculator. I linked it in the description, but the way it works is you're going to have a look at it and you're going to fill out some of your business costs, some of your personal costs, and you're going to also say, hey, this is how much I want to work in a year, this is how much free time I want, and it's going to tell you how much your time is worth based on the way you want to live your life. So it's incredible and it's free. If you go and check it out through fastforwardamy.com/hourly worth calculator. And now the recap of all of the things we talked about today. 1, stop selling features, start actually selling your product. Just remember the surgery versus the cleavage. 2, make sure you have one core offer that you can turn into a profitable business before you start switching all the time. 3, make sure your offer is clear and people really know what they're buying from you, because it might be clear to you, but not to others. 4, make sure you're pitching enough, because people can't randomly buy from you. They need to know where they can actually buy from you. So when you are pitching, make sure you're making it easy for people to buy. 5, do people trust you enough to buy from you like you trust big brands? The reason you trust big brands is often because they have a quality label or a lot of reviews. So have a look at how you can increase the trust people have in your brand, for example, by gathering some social proof. 6, lack of confidence, and that's okay. You don't always have to be confident. You don't always even have to believe in yourself, but you do have to believe in your product. And 7, are you charging enough? Are you sure? Or do you need to revisit your prices? And if you do need to revisit what you're charging, maybe do that by looking at the hourly worth calculator that we have created for you totally for free in the Fast Forward Academy. I've linked it in the description. Have fun calculating. You do need to take a bit of time for it, but obviously that is normal if you want to go and change your life. If you learned anything from this episode, it might be a sign that today is not the time maybe to invest more in your skill set of your passion. You know, if you're knitting, maybe you don't need to get better at knitting, but maybe today is a time to decide that you just need to get better at business. And I want to help you out with that, because in a couple of weeks, I am actually releasing for the first time in over a year my Business Freedom Elevator. In this program, I've helped over 1,400 entrepreneurs in their journey towards financial independence. I created this entire program based on all of the mistakes I made in the past, going from starting my first business, making 30 euros an hour, to making much more, and, you know, building a business that can also just like stand the test of time when I'm not around all the time, and that gives me so much more freedom in my life. I have hosted this program 5 times in a row, and I've spent the last year improving it to make it faster and even better, so I can help busy entrepreneurs to grow their business in these trying times. So if you want to join the Freedom Fast Track, which is a new version of the Business Freedom Elevator, I'm hosting it from September throughout October and November, and I want you to be there. I have 100 spots available for 100 fast action takers who want to get in the first minute of our launch. And if you want to be one of those who wants to grow their business this year, and, you know, in December look back at the year and feel like, holy shit, I did so much in these past couple of months and I really took charge of my destiny, the Business Freedom Elevator might be just the thing you need in its new fast track version. So get on the waitlist through fastforwardamy.com/BFE waitlist. And if you've followed the program in the past and you want to rejoin, keep an eye out or send us an email at team@fastforwardamy.com, because we have a lot of special things that are happening in the next couple of weeks. So if you have any questions at all, just shoot us an email or send me a DM on Instagram. I cannot wait to welcome my new coachees in the Business Freedom Elevator Fast Track version, because this year is going to be epic. This version is going to be epic. I can't wait to see everyone skyrocket their success.